Hello and welcome. Today we're just going to do a shave test. I've got one of my keepers that I want to show you. Long time in the coming, this razor. I ordered this November the 20th, let's say. It was definitely towards the end of November. And, well, let's put it this way. It took a while for it to get in the post. Imported razor. Very slow, willy-nilly, didn't care one iota. Very polite messages saying he actually going to ship it this week. And he was kind of like, yes, we're having festivals. It's like, okay, well, post is still going though, yeah? But anyway, I got it. I got this in a job lot of free razors. And it come with another 14 pattern razor that sadly has had to have a lot of it, well, not grinded off, but on my plates grinded off, because there was a little chip here, man, and I touched the chip when I got it and it just went whoosh, disintegrated. But I was after this razor, so I didn't care too much about the other razor, even though if the other razor was still in its pomp and prime, it would have been an absolutely lovely razor. But alas, it weren't to be, so now we've got another 14 pattern that I'm going to pass on to somebody relatively cheap that's minus a bit. This is a 14 pattern. I've always wanted a 14 pattern J.A Henckels because I have a 17 pattern J.A Henckels, and this is one of my favourite razors ever. And this was like the beginning of my love affair with J.A Henckels, I think, because I think one of my most favourite German make. And this one, when you get a good edge on it, it shaves like a dream. And I've got a J.A edge on that now. No tape, J.A edge. No tape going forward, as I've said before. So this is not technically a J.A Henckels, because it is one of these Guillermo Hoppe. But the dude worked for J.A Henckels, and he worked for him for a long time. I believe he was a grinder of sorts. Probably a supervisor kind of grinder, or at least he would definitely work his way up to that. And anyway, he started his own thing, you know, kind of. So even though it's not J.A Henckels, it is kind of thing. It's even got the little J.A Henckels twins that are just slightly different. And one of the razors I got with this was a J.A Henckels, but with also Guillermo Hoppe. I'm saying it wrong, I am. On the opposite side, so yeah, J.A Henckels on the face side, and then and that's a 16 pattern. That is, whatever that means in J.A Henckels' world. It's a very small, fine, really fine grind. So look at the grind on this. Look, typical 14 fashion. I just love them. Like, you know, people rave about the 14 patterns of Philharmonicas and everything, and I've had two Philharmonicas. One's a keeper. I only ever keep one Philharmonica, and that's for a Tough Beards one, and it's lovely. Like, really is. First time I shaved that, it was almost like this epiphany of shaving. It really was. It was just amazing. It felt like it weren't touching me. It was taking all my hairs off, and even though it was a massive, great big razor. So let's try and do a side by side, if we can. Let's try and get my fingers out of the way as best as I can. So that's with the pivot point lined up. So if you just focus on the blades, you're talking nearly 10 mil, sort of 3/8, somewhere around that. And then we try and open them up and try and get a comparison without bloody dropping it. On this 17 pattern, it's got custom scales by me. Some of my first custom scales, actually, I must say, after I did a few practice runs on some wood and whatnot. Right, the blade's not actually going to stay up, so it's going to be a bit difficult to do it. It's not loose or anything, it's just a bloody old heavy blade, and that's why I always say whenever I, you know, like I did a for barber's use, and I've done another 14 pattern with nice scales, I always make sure the pivot point's like tight, because, well, they can close on your bloody fingers, mate, because the 14 pattern's got a bit of weight to it, it can cause a lot of damage. Like, it's nearly caught me out once. So that there's the actual blade. There's a bit of difference in the shape. This 14 pattern from Hope is got some quite sort of bad manufacturing marks in a way, like, but I've seen it a few times on his razors, so it's quite rough grinded down this bottom part, which some people would call the belly, and it has got a belly on this, by the way. It has got the German hollow ground. Excuse me, and I'm damn near sure they're, you know, manufacturing marks. But yeah, without further ado, let's see how it shaves. On the stones, it felt lovely, sounded lovely, sat lovely. It's just one of them razors where as soon as you touch it basically on the stones, it's like, whoa, this one's going to be the one. So I'm not somebody that wants to hoard razors. I think I've said that before. I've got keepers, and some of my keepers are because I just love them. Some of them is because they just shave almost like divinely. And then some of them is because I've been either bought them directly, or like for instance my gran, oh, I didn't want to do that, did I? My gran, start again. My gran gives me a bit of like birthday money, Christmas money, so generally I hunt out a razor I've been after, and so yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, some of them are my keepers. So I've got two 14 patterns. I'm trying to sort out my brush, so don't do that again. Bit handle heavy, that brush. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so I don't like hoarding razors of any kind, and I've always said before I started kind of collecting, whatever you want to call it, that I wouldn't hoard razors. I wouldn't keep too many of the same, and I wouldn't keep too many of the same patterns and or makes as well, because you know I'm somebody that wants to get the razors back out in the wild really, and get people, like more people shaving, you know. So yeah, I've got two 14 patterns. One's that Cruff, whatever it's called, that I restored, and that comes to me in a right old battered. Well, I hope I've got the before photo on that, because it was right battered and horrible, and you should have seen the scales on it. You never seen nothing like it. It was these great big massive clunky wood scales that were horrible, man. But somebody, you know, got it back shaving again, so fair play to him. Yeah, so I'll be selling that now. And it's a good shaver, like. I've shaved it twice. I shaved it once when I put a 12,000 edge on it, Shapton, with tape, and that's when I first was discovering that tape on a finished razor is not good, because when you're stropping, especially if you're on a paddle strop, rigid strop, you're not hitting the edge, man. Like, I've done various testing with like marker pens, and also I've got like a, what they call, like an eye lope, so they're a bit bigger than a jeweler's lope. Camera aperture lope, I think some of them are called as well. I'm not too clued up on that side of life, but anyway, you can see it's not hitting the strop, especially the paddle strops. But anyway, I digress. So then I took the razor back to the J Nats, and well, my J Nat after I got it, and put a J Nat edge on it. It's lovely. Without the tape, everything strops a bit better basically. I know there's that forever argument of tape or no tape, but I do use tape at the beginning of my sort of progression and that, just to protect homeware, especially if you've got microchips, you know what I mean? There's no point putting homeware on when you're trying to get chips out. You know, I know I'm going to do bread knife if you've got chips anyway, but sometimes I don't. If they're only little, I just hone them out. Lovely scent on this let's try and say it today, oh god. Scapicello, I think it is Scapicello, like, I've got Italian mates and at least it sounds Italian. Scapicello, Captain Fawcett's, it's lovely. I've got a refill for this as well, so that's to me that's years of shaving, man. Right, without further ado though, man, let's check out this Hope. Lovely razor, man, I tell you. I love it that it's got no shoulder whatsoever hanging off below the shank. I like that. It's my razor. I've got your hair all out. Yeah, let's took that bad boy off. Look at that, you can hear that. That's something else, that is. from the heel to the toe. You do have to be a little bit more cautious when you start wielding these big razors, because I think they're very easy to shave with, but it's definitely different angles, we'll put it that way. And you have to just be a little bit more aware of where the end and the end, both ends are basically. I will be putting another edge on this though, because even though that's shaving lovely, long and short of it, I bought a natural Ngora stone to start experimenting with that bit, because I've not done a lot of that really. I've been synthetics for a long time, just because there's reliability, convenience, consistency, and that. I think that's always the best way to learn how to hone properly, because you know, if your stones are consistent, it means you can just practice your technique and your style and get your feel, and each their own though. But my Ngora stone that I bought is too hard basically for the stones I've got, especially my J.A anyway. My J.A.'s marked at a hardness level of about 4, maybe 4.5. Just picked a bit of a spot then, or yeah, I had a bit of a spot there. I just took the head off of it, and a bit more. What was I going to say? Yeah, so my J.A.'s a bit on the softer side. Which a lot of J.A.'s are, because they're made from sedimentary rock, you see, so that's why you have to always either cashew or lacquer all the edges that you're not going to use, because they can start delaminating from what I've been reading. That's a good one, that is. Well, if you want to get rid of a spot, straight razors are a really good way to do it, but you bleed. Didn't even feel it. Surgical sharp and more. So yeah, I'm going to put a different edge on it, because I sharpened it with that, and my experience with some of the other razors basically I sharpened in the same batch is they're not as sharp as I was getting with my other slurry stone, and my other slurry stone was a cuticle that was working really well. So I'm going to ditch that Ngora stone, just sell it. Because it'll work for many a stone, just not the stone I've got. I say I might sell it, I might actually keep it, because I do plan on getting another harder J.A when money allows. So I don't know, I might keep it. It only cost me 20 quid or something. Right, let's go backwards. See, what I was experiencing is I let my technique slip a tiny bit. So against the grain, I was going like this, right? Which some people do and some people's fine, I know. But what I was noticing is every now and then I was catching my hand with the handle and stuff, and basically I've got 2 little nicks on my cheek, and both times it was because of that. It's a good little, shaved it right off, haven't I? So even though I've been shaving like this a long time, every now and then you can just have little lapses in your concentration. You sort of, you know, go away from your desired technique sometimes. And to be fair, like when I was a bit younger, I didn't have to stretch my skin at all. Like, excuse me. That's a good one, isn't it? Don't want to stop today. I took no blood thinners, honestly. Right, so on the cheek, don't pull from the bottom. Yeah, so Silanagura stone basically didn't match my J.A Nat, because that's all it is, just don't match it. I bought one that's too hard, and again that's through lack of knowledge really. I should have sort of probably done a bit more research before I bought it. So I can vent my little Spotnik. And because it was too hard, you see, it was scratching my actual J.A Nat. But also, it was microscopically nicking the edge of my blade. And if I didn't... It's bloody sharp though. If I didn't have a microscope, you'd have never known, because you wouldn't have seen it with a lobe or anything. So it goes to show, like, you know, you need to match your Nagura stones to your stone, and if you don't, I wouldn't say you damage your stone, because, you know, it's not fixable. You know, just sorry, you just sand it with your diamond plate, you know, get your little scratches out. But it's because it's got a secondary problem, you see, so something to be aware of when you're buying your Nagura stones. Sometimes they might not. Oh, sorry, it's blood from my chin. They might not match your stone, you see, so there's always that risk. I'd really like to get like a little comma stone. I'm probably saying that wrong, it's Japanese anyway. But they're costly old things. You know, I can get a whole J.A Nat stone for the cost of one of them commas. Get a whole J.A Nat stone that's like 800 gram versus a comma that's about 98 gram or something. That really is a good little knit. I'm going to have to put the old septic pen on that today, or a loom. I might go and get it now actually. Yeah, let me go and get it quick. Tiny, I've got a proper block of it now. This is one of the first ones. Well, not one of the first ones, but right. See, because I rarely ever get irritation, you never see me using one really. They say if it stings a lot, your razor needs a bit more shortened. It's a little bit stingy under there, I must say. But I don't take much credence in that, you know. I think it's going to sting anyway, because whatever way you're looking at it. God, stinging on that, that's bad boy. Oof. No, nothing for it. Gonna have to to do like the real old school thing, boys, innit? Eh? I was speaking to my mum the other week and she said about Grandad, bless his heart, no longer with us. He used to come down every single day with the old-fashioned tissue on the face, but he'd have it all over, and that was just shaved with a DE razor, man. So imagine him set loose with an old straight razor, man. What? That's what we have to do, boys. It's not like open heart surgery. Just literally took a piece of my chin off because I had a bit of a bumpy spot that I forgot about. So if you've got a bit of a bumpy spot, a bit of a deep one, try and remember it before you use your straight razors. I totally didn't even think about it whatsoever. Walk down the street like that, look well cool. Couple of minutes, get it stopped. Right, so that's one of my keepers. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to change the scales on it because it's cellulite, and if I've got a keeper, I don't like cellulite. I said that the other day. Cellulite, it's a celluloid. Mum's got cellulite in her arse. Yeah, if I've got a keeper, long and short of it, I don't like keeping them in their celluloid scales. What I do is I'll take that off, I'll hopefully not damage it, and I'll keep it. So if I ever did choose to sell it, I can offer to put the scales back on. I always do that. You know, some people like them original, which is fair enough. But I don't, man. If it's a keeper, shit like that keeps me awake at night. Wake up one day, check your razor, and it's all got that like rust, real red rust on it. I've had them like crap ones I've got before. Yeah, so I'll put some lovely scales on it. I'm probably going to put some horn scales on it, some real nice thin horn, nice little bullseye pins and that, collars. I think we'll go down that route with it. Or I might put some acrylic on it. Oh, who knows, who knows, who knows. Right, that's your lot. Oh, you had a good day. See you later.